where all the liberal countries that we used to be aligned with on this issue a few years ago, we are not. I'm just saying, let's not even get into the details.
Honestly,
let's just get into the fact.
Okay.
What are you talking about? And oh boy, he missed a really good point there. But first off, Bill, what are you talking about? Let's not get into the details. Let's get into the facts. The facts are the details. The details should pertain some facts. You can't separate the two. I'm sorry. You mean let's separate the facts from your opinions or the facts from your talking points. That's what you really want to do. Who are you trying to fool here? So one thing that I love that I do on this channel and just about every single video that I can, if there's a will, there's a way. If there's a way I can squeeze in some statistics, something of historical truth, something, I'm going to put that into a video. But there's people, okay, like Bill Maher, who would just say anything. Like, I don't know if he can say a full complete sentence that doesn't need to be fact checked. Like, it's just ridiculous to me. And in the video that we're going to be watching, like he says, like in the midst of the conversation, like, you know what, let's not get into the details. Like, let's just, like, no, what do you mean? Let's not get into the details, but you want to have a really important conversation without the details? Like, what are we doing? This is supposed to be a podcast where we can flesh out, you know, our ideas in these conversations and get into the nitty gritty of these conversations. But for you to say, let's not get into the details, just lets me know if you got into the details, you might be looking like an ass. That's what I think he's afraid of. So once again, hey, guys, guess what? We're going to learn something today. I know that's some people's kryptonite, but to have these deeper conversations, sometimes you need to know what the hell you are talking about. Okay. So once again, when it comes to gender dysphoria and talking about young individuals under 18, if you just listen to Republicans for 5-10 minutes, you would think this shit is just out of control. You would think that somebody's out there kidnapping kids and just transing them. 15 minutes, boom, your young boy is now a grown woman. Like, you would think it's just like something you can buy at Walmart in aisle 6 next to the chips. Like, oh, here's trans my kids. Like, no, it's a whole process. So for those who don't know what gender dysphoria is, it is a psychological term that describes the distress or discomfort that arises when an individual's gender identity does not align with their assigned sex at birth. This mismatch can cause significant emotional, psychological, and social challenges. People experiencing gender dysphoria often feel a strong desire to live as a gender different from the one that they were assigned and may seek to transition socially, medically, or both to align their physical and social identity with their gender identity. Now, here's some numbers. Approximately 300,000 transgender youth aged from 13 to 17 represents approximately, check this out, approximately 1.4 of all youth in that age group in the United States. Once again, I don't want to tell you what a real problem is. I don't want to tell you that you don't need to care about this, because I know every individual has their own perspectives of whatever. Okay, I got you. But if 70% of Americans can't or don't have $300 in savings just in case of an emergency, at least to me, that is something that needs to be focused on. Not 1.4% of Americans. That is crazy to me. Once again, like, we can put that on our list of priorities. Okay, let's do that. Boom, right at the bottom, number 23rd. But can we knock some of the more important things down? Let's not pretend as if, like I said, that your kids are just going to, you're going to wake up one morning and your kids are going to be fully transitioned for free. Like they're just going to the hospital and just getting surgeries for free. It doesn't work like that. But, of course, Bill, with all that money, but can't read, can't buy an article, can't Google search for free, which is a shame.
America is the only country that does transgender policy the way we do now. We used to be closer to Sweden.
I'm sorry, you got to be more specific.
Kids can, what do you call gender affirmation? Okay, have the operation.
Okay, you understand first of all that the biggest, the most prevalent gender affirming surgery is breast removal, tissue removal for cisgender male boys.
Okay, but we're not talking about that.
Okay, but the reason I'm bringing it up is because if people are okay with people are always saying we don't want young people making those decisions for lifelong decisions when they're still very young. I mean that seems to be what people are.
Well, that's where Europe, where all the liberal countries that we used to be aligned with on this issue a few years ago, we are not. I'm just saying, let's not even get into the details.
Honestly,
let's just get into the fact.
Okay.
What are you talking about? And oh boy, he missed a really good point there. But first off, Bill, what are you talking about? Let's not get into the details. Let's get into the facts. The facts are the details. The details should pertain some facts. You can't separate the two. I'm sorry. You mean let's separate the facts from your opinions or the facts from your talking points. That's what you really want to do. Who you trying to fool here? I don't know, but it's not going to work. So once again, Bill, a 2019 U.S. study found out that about 150 surgeries for minors and 97% of those surgeries were chest reduction for cisgender menders with, and I'm sorry if I butchered this word, but I promise you I'm trying, but it's gynecomastia, something like that. And it's a condition where males develop breast tissue. A very few transgender adolescents aged 13 to 17 had surgeries and none under 12 received them. So once again, Bill, if you are basing your conversation off of myths, off of lies, off of misinformation, off of feelings or vibes, then the conversation is built on nothing. It's built on nothing that can be founded on anything. So, Bill, I mean, we need to do better. Or just stop talking. One of the two. But I know you're not going to stop talking. So guess what? I'm going to keep having to call your ass out. I'm sorry. Let's continue.
Just start with the fact that America does this in a way nobody else does. That doesn't mean, I'm not saying it's necessarily definitely wrong, although I do think it is. But no other country does self-diagnosis by children, no age limit.
That's not what's occurring.
That is what is occurring.
It's not occurring.
Or it certainly
and by
can.
the way, the thing you're talking about is a thing called the Dutch Protocol, which obviously started in Holland.
Started in Holland. Yes, I'm familiar.
Yes, okay. So Europe, so you're saying the U.S. doesn't use the things that Europe does, but
which
they
abandoned. They
did not abandon it.
Yeah, they did.
And we can argue about the Cass review as well. I'm aware of it. Yes, which did not.
Bill has no idea what he's talking about. Yeah, but I mean, but what I'm trying to say is the U.S. is just so crazy. That's the only point Bill wants to make with this. He's not trying to get into the historical context of anything. No, he doesn't. He just wants to say America is just the outlier because they're so focused on trend. No, I just read you the numbers. You're the only one. You and your small brain friends are the only ones so laser focused on young kids becoming trans. Once again, if you're thinking about that much, I have my own questions for you. One, I hope you don't live close to schools. Because if you're that fixated on kids and their body parts and how they identify, it's a little weird. I'm just saying. Oh, hey, don't blame me. You're every word that comes out of these people's mouths is kids, trans kids. It's like, don't we got other issues that we need to be focused about? But no. Come on, Bill. Let's give us some more. Come on.
Which its conclusions did not match its own data, but okay, we'll talk about that later if you're open to
That's
that.
too in the weeds.
Okay, but see, that's what I'm saying is the truth is in the weeds, dude. And
No,
and
and for the
unfortunately,
audience, too in the weeds.
okay,
I mean, it's and maybe for me at this point, because I don't have the CAS report right in my mind.
Aha.
Many people who are saying, "What is that?" A British woman
Yes.
who is a pediatrician and also was this
what
was
happened
her
was
field of study.
there was a big controversy
She
about
did a
the
report, and-
NHS. Yes,
Yeah.
about the NHS transgender care, and unfortunately, the NHS is under a lot of scrutiny for many things because national health care is often very controversial because people have to prioritize very specific care for specific people, and it's hard to do that in a governmental way.
Correct.
But there was a lot of people saying that kids who were going through gender dysphoria were not getting enough care before they were making lifelong decisions, and that's a concern, absolutely. But the report said that they were actually getting enough care, but they as a society were using it as a way to say we don't want this to even be a possibility for people under 18. And so at any rate.
Right, and that's too far. And like, it's a shame that we can't ever just meet in the middle of what's common sense. Like Trump, I see they're not letting somebody use the bathroom.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just,
Again,
can we just not do stupid on either side?
What, Bill? I don't understand what you're trying to ask here. Okay, I understand the whole let's not do stupid on either side. Like, I understand that, but right now, okay, like I don't want to call you stupid, but a lot of the stupidity seems to be coming from you right now. I'm just saying, like, meet in the middle of young adults getting the care that they need. Shouldn't that just be between the parents and their therapist and their doctor? I'm just saying, like, I do understand, like, we as Americans need to kind of uplift each other and work for each other, make sure everyone succeeds, but not everyone cares about your opinion, especially when it's personal, when it's within the family, the parents, the kid, the doctor, the therapist. And that's all things that they include. Like I say, you can't just go to Walmart and just buy this off the shelf. Like, it's not a home kit where you can trans yourself. So it's like, Bill, no one cares about what you have to say about their own personal decisions. Hey, I'm sorry, but here's some more facts for you. When it comes to medical treatment, hormone replacement therapy, HRT, or gender-affirming surgeries to align physical characteristics with gender identity, the U.S. estimates suggest fewer than 0.5% of adolescents may receive puberty blockers. That's less than 1% of these adolescents, these young adults who are taking the HRT. So, Bill, once again, why are you so fixated on such a small percentage of Americans? You don't even have kids. Maybe here's the thought: have your own kids and worry about your kids. Hey, I think we solved Bill's problem right there.
But
You
see,
know,
what
and
I'm saying is that parents who have kids who are going through severe gender dysphoria have very limited options to begin with, and they're usually trying to think about the survival of their child, and so limiting what they have access to,
And
when there actually is an enormous amount of statistical evidence that supported the Dutch protocols, I think it's wrong to limit for government to limit what they feel is the appropriate medical treatment.
There are cases where it is appropriate, I think.
Okay.
Okay, I think this is the standard liberal position. And then there's like the people who won't admit that some of this is social contagion. Some of this is just a TikTok trend that got out of hand.
I don't agree.
And that's okay. And that's what friends are for.
Okay.
To be able to come to it and go.
But Bill, even if there is kids that are like caught up in a trend, which is possible. I'm not on TikTok, so I don't really care. I don't really see it. But let's say it is a trend. The numbers that I just read to you don't reflect that they're going through a transition, like a full hormone treatment, the whole surgery. They're not doing that. Now, if you're talking about like something that they're just going through mentally and then they kind of just get out of it when they get older, okay. Once again, none of your business. You don't need to be the captain of what are people going through emotionally or psychologically. Like, you are not a therapist. You know what I'm saying? Like, once again, stay in your lane. That would be helpful. That's between the individual and their parents or, whoever they're speaking to. That's on them. But the numbers say, the statistics, the weeds, the details, the nitty gritty, the proof that's in the pudding. Okay, I don't know any other analogies. The numbers don't reflect that all these teenagers are changing their sex, changing their body parts, taking all these drugs and hormones. No, that is not happening. I'm sorry, Bill. You're wrong.
Oh, okay, we've elucidated our points enough. People get where we're coming from, and they just, they'll trust me. In this town, everybody, you'll be the big champion. You own Bill Maher because they just want to agree with you. And my take on this, just as like super friend to friend now, is just like the people in this town. They just want to be warriors, social justice warriors. So they're just always looking for a cause, and it's so much more often about them than the cause itself. Not that they're not sincere about stuff, but like what bugs Dave Chappelle so much about the trans thing, I think it's the fact that they want to make it the social justice issue of their generation, and it just doesn't compare to other ones. It's important, it's an issue. Mm-hmm. I think it's great we live in a time when trans people can be, respected and protected, but you're asking too much often to rewrite like the idea that when someone is born, there is a default setting for humans, male and female. Not everyone is. Now, a real conservative would say, no, everyone is. I would never say that.
But
I think
there are chromosomal spectrums.
There's a default setting,
hermaphroditism.
but then there's a whole other section, and that's great, and we should protect those people. But don't pretend there isn't also a default setting. And you can't rewrite the world so that every baby is just a jump ball. Oh, it could be anything. No.
Okay, Bill. Once again, I mean, I get what he's trying to say here. And once again, he's doing this weird, like, I want to say this, but I need to make sure I say this because then I'm going to lose my contract. I'm going to lose my friends. I'm going to lose my base if I don't make sure I say this. So, like, he's doing this weird, like, riding the fence thing. And I really hate that. Like, just pick a position and just stand on business. You know what I'm saying? Once again, my position is I'm going to do what's good for my family. And if a family wants to play jump ball like he just suggested, let them do what they want to do. It is not going to affect me financially. It is not going to affect me emotionally. It is not going to affect me and my family from eating every single day, waking up, having heat in this cold weather here in Colorado. I don't care. Do what you want to do. If you want to think you're a saber-toothed tiger, then by all means, Mr. Tiger, Mr. Sabertooth, whatever. But once again, Republicans, conservative, they get so into your business, but they want less government. Bill, you can't have it, Bo. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't do that. That's not how that works. But let's continue.
Oh, if it's got a dick, it's probably a boy. And if it's not, we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that in a compassionate way.
Well, yeah,
but we'll also be apprised of the idea that children don't know shit about anything. Yes, sometimes it is obvious, and we should address it that way. But I mean, kids, Christ Almighty! I mean, the idea that I would, as a child, would have had to have dealt with something like this.
Well, again, the people that go through it don't say this is the life I want. No parent wants to be in the midst of those choices. It's terrifying.
Some kids these days actually just do want to be trans.
I
it's
don't
cooler,
agree.
John.
I don't
it's
agree.
a thing.
Nope.
Oh,
I don't agree.
Come on.
I don't agree with Bill Maher.
I know.
That's the name of the show tonight.
Well, your eyes are not open to that, I think. There are some kids, especially, why is it like so much more prevalent like here than Indiana?
Well,
are they suppressing it there? Maybe a little.
There's a societal suppression, but it's like left-handedism.
It's in some areas you could get killed for being gay or trans or saying that you're not. You might be physically a man, but you might be eternal a woman. They will kill you in some of these countries. So I'm just saying, like, maybe when they're doing data, when they're collecting their census, maybe when they see 0% gay people in their country, it might be because they don't want to tell people, because they might get killed. I'm just saying, or just cast out of their family out of shame. So once again, Bill, that means nothing. One. And two, you show no statistical data on anything. You're just like, well, how, in some countries, it's not like blah, blah, blah. Like, no, Bill, I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about your vibes. Show me the facts. That's all I want.
Being left-handed was suppressed for thousands of years amongst human beings. But once it was apparently in the 30s, scientists basically said there's no left-handedness doesn't actually do anything bad.
Right.
Left-handedness shot up. Mm-hmm. People just stopped training themselves to be right-handed. And this has happened societally before, that's the closest analog that I can think of it.
Okay, but I think the numbers are faulty in that one. I mean, how many people are left-handed? 15%, something like that?
It went from like 8%
so you think that
to 15%.
15% of us are born in the wrong body?
I don't know, but I do believe that.
Bill, what are you doing? Bill, you can't take. Did he just take statistics? Data from one to another and be like, I mean, LeBron James has a 42% of a jumper from the throw line, like, so is 43% of us trans? Like no. Hey, Bill, I think I just had an idea. I think Bill is literally stupid. Like, I don't think he is smart at all. Like, how do you accidentally say something as stupid as that? He took a guess of statistics of one whole different topic, took those statistics into his own argument and said, well, is 15% of us trans? Bill, how do you have a fan base? You're mentally challenged. I don't want to say the R word. You have some sort of mental condition. That's what I swear, I'm not a doctor, but if I had to put money on it, I think you have some brain condition. You have to. You can't be that stupid on purpose. You can't even act that stupid. I think you're literally that. Okay, let's continue.
That parents who are dealing with that situation in their child need to be able to make those decisions.
I don't think it's as high as 50%. It is a certain percent, but okay, but
statistician in Bill Maher shows
but numbers
up.
matter.
No, they do.
Numbers
but again,
matter.
But what bothers me is that this becomes an issue to demonize people. I mean,
but I'm not demonizing.
I know. I'm not saying you are. But I'm saying the right-wing framing is, and it often starts with danger to your children, danger to your women. The trans people are going in your back.
And he brings up a good point. Like, it's not the conversation that's the problem. It's the demonization that follows it. And once again, you can look this up through African American history after slavery. How much they tried to demonize and create monsters out of black people. Oh, you got to protect your white women. These black savages are going to just, like, no. And then when they start lynching black folks, they do it out of fear. Like, oh, these are not really humans. They're just like animals. And they don't know how to act in society. So I need to show them. I need to train them. I need to discipline them. I need to set them an example. All right, and I just looked it up. So before the 20th century, it was sitting around 3 to 5% of individuals who wrote with their left hand. And once again, all those conspiracies and all those, witchery things. And then after the 20th century, it sits around 10 to 12%. So maybe the false information some people have might have some people suppress some things. And once people understand that they're not going to be demonized or they're not going to be hunted down like animals, if they come out with the truth on how they feel or their perspective on something, or simply writing with their left hand, then the numbers are going to increase. But once again, I just read you guys some numbers. It's not increasing that much to where we need to spend 13 minutes and 47 seconds on a subject.
Bathroom, and of course, by the way, these bills that are ahead in Congress right now are to force trans women into men's bathroom, also force trans men into women's bathroom. And these, I don't think Nancy Mace really gets that she's inviting a bunch of trans men into her her bathroom. I don't think she gets that.
It's horrible. It's horrible. And I agree with.
But again, the demonization that they spent hundreds of millions of dollars demonizing trans people was fucking loathsome.
Well,
loathsome.
That's politics, sweetheart.
No,
people,
it's not.
You
but again,
give them an opening. Excuse me. You give them an opening like
an opening like people deserve respect. Yeah, that's the opening.
That's okay.
Bill, yes, he is dunking on you. You are dunkable. You make situations to where people can easily just dunk on you and embarrass you. That's politics, sweetheart. What? Just trying to say, hey, people are people and they deserve dignity and respect just like anybody else. So people can capitalize off that and politicize that for their own political gain. If that's politics, then that's a shame.
Oh, God. Deprogrammer, please come in soon.
Okay.
She would
Can we
not
get the deprogrammer?
When it
I
was,
want to deprogram you.
Yeah, well, you're doing a bad.
You do this for a living.
Here's what she would not condemn. She had said when they asked her, "Are you for operations in prisons, taxpayer paid, in prisons for prisoners who want to transition?" Okay. She just said, "I'll follow the law." She wouldn't say, "No, you know what? I said that in 2019. That goes too far."
Well, except
maybe she would have been somewhat in the race if she said something like that.
But again, this happens. As you said, the statistical amount of trans people is so small, and this happens on so few occasions, and this is statistically meaningless.
You just said it was 15%.
No, but I didn't say that. You said it. You're the. I was talking about left-handedness.
Well, you said it
but I said I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the statistics.
It does, but just
from my point.
from just looking around the world, you don't think 15% is a little high for that?
Yeah, it might be. Again, I'd be guessing.
But see, here's the thing. You're right about a lot of this. What the right does demonize.
Yes, and that's horrifying.
Oh God, it's politics. Of course, you have to assume that the other side is going to use your vulnerable points. But here's what the left demonizes. They would take my conversation with you right now, which is in no way illiberal, and say I'm some sort of bigot, because in the left's view, the far left anyway, any just questioning of this is a mic drop. Oh, you're a bigot. I mean, it happened on CNN recently. Like, I will not.
So I just looked it up. So about 0.5% of U.S. adults identify as transgender. I don't even feel the need to continue with that conversation. I mean, kudos to whoever John Sawyer was talking to. I mean, kudos to him. Like I wish he was a little better on his numbers. Just pull out your phone and look this up. That's literally what I just did, and you will find this out. It's not 15%. Once again, if you build a conversation off of lies or guessing, you're building a bunch of BS. And that's a problem. Here's a quote for you. Debates without facts are nothing more than just meaningless gossip. I just created that when I was writing my notes for this segment here. You guys can take it, put it on a t-shirt, post it on Facebook, do whatever you like with it. It is senseless to have a meaningful conversation if you don't know what you're talking about. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bill Maher, for wasting people's time with nothing that is even statistically important. I'm just saying. But once again, guys, if you agree or disagree with anything I said in this video, let me know in the comments down below, or hit that Discord button so me and you can have that one-on-one talk. And like always, let's have that conversation.